Ryan Mitchell had always considered himself pretty good at reading people. As a graphic designer living in Chicago and working at a small but creative agency downtown, he dealt with his fair share of personalities. Clients, co-workers, strangers on the train. He liked to think he could pick up on body language, subtle cues, tone of voice. But lately, something was messing with that confidence. Her name was Haley Brooks. Haley had recently joined their firm as a marketing strategist. From the moment she walked in, everything about her demanded attention, but not in the loud or arrogant way. She was confident, yes, but calm. Her laugh wasn't exaggerated. Her wardrobe wasn't revealing. And yet, Ryan couldn't stop thinking about her. She made little comments in meetings that lingered in his mind. She'd glance his way, but it wasn't quite the textbook flirty look his friends always talked about. It was more like curiosity mixed with challenge. The first time he really noticed it was during a Thursday morning brainstorming session. Ryan had just presented a pitch for a client rebrand. He wasn't nervous, but he wasn't overly enthusiastic either. Just steady and professional. When he finished, the room was quiet for a beat, and then Haley spoke up. "That was good, Ryan," she said, leaning back in her chair. "But I don't think that's what the client is looking for." Her words stung at first, but she didn't say it like she was being harsh. It was almost teasing, like she wanted him to push back. He blinked. "How so?" "Well," she said, tilting her head, "your concept focuses on their legacy, their history. But the client has been trying to shake off that image for years. They want edgy, not nostalgic." Ryan chuckled under his breath. "So you're saying I'm old school?" He grinned. "I'm saying you've got a good eye, but I'm not sure you've adjusted your lens to 2025 yet." The group laughed, and even Ryan cracked a smile. But later, as they walked out of the conference room, Haley brushed past him and said under her breath, "You'll prove me wrong, I can tell." That's when he started noticing the pattern. Haley never complimented him the way others did. She didn't laugh at his jokes just to be nice. She didn't initiate small talk in the kitchen or fake interest in his weekend plans. But every now and then, she'd challenge him with a spark in her eyes. Like when he wore a new leather jacket and she said, "Trying to look dangerous, Mitchell?" Or when he offered to help her carry her laptop bag and she smirked, "I thought you said I was stronger than I look." It wasn't what he expected. She didn't touch his arm or linger when she walked by. But her words, her tone, there was something electric in them. Something intentional. It became clearer one Friday evening. The office was mostly empty, except for Ryan and Haley, both staying late to prep for a big pitch on Monday. They sat at opposite desks in the open workspace, quiet music playing from Haley's playlist, some indie acoustic artist Ryan had never heard of. The vibe was calm, focused, almost intimate. Around 8 p.m., Haley stood and stretched. "I need food," she said. "You?" "I could eat," Ryan admitted. "I know this little ramen place around the corner." "You in?" He hesitated. "Like dinner. He smirked. "Ryan, if I wanted a date, I wouldn't be this subtle." He laughed, caught off guard. "Okay, then yeah. Let's do it." At the restaurant they didn't talk about work. They talked about books, music, failed vacations. She told him she once backpacked through Croatia alone. He told her he'd never been anywhere outside North America. She teased him for that, but also said, "That just means you've got a lot to look forward to." She asked if he always kept his guard up, or if he just wasn't used to being around bold women. He raised an eyebrow. "Bold? You?" She smiled with one eyebrow raised. "I'm flirting with you, Ryan. Just not in the way you expect." That night changed everything. From then on, Ryan paid closer attention, not just to Haley, but to how people express interest in their own unique ways. While some are direct, others challenge you. Some flirt with words, others with wit. Haley's way wasn't traditional, but it was intentional. He started flirting back. Not by complimenting her hair or offering coffee runs, but by debating her ideas in meetings, shooting back sarcastic replies, and calling her out when she tried to pretend she didn't care what he thought. She liked it. One afternoon, during a casual Friday happy hour in the office, Haley sat next to Ryan on the couch. "You ever going to ask me out?" she asked bluntly, sipping her hard cider. He raised his brows. "You never struck me as someone who waits to be asked." "That's true," she said, leaning in. "But I've already been doing the heavy lifting for weeks. Thought I'd give you a shot." He grinned. "All right then. How about Saturday? There's an art exhibit downtown, urban surrealism. Thought it might challenge your oh-so-modern taste." She pretended to think about it. "As long as you promise to disagree with the artist and try to argue with me about it." "Deal." Their first official date went just like that. Banter, debate, laughter. And it worked, because what started as verbal sparring turned into emotional connection. They learned that underneath their differences, they valued the same things: ambition, honesty, curiosity, and fun. Months passed, and their relationship bloomed quietly. No flashy Instagram posts, no office gossip. Just a deepening bond built on mutual respect and playful rivalry. One night, as they sat on Ryan's balcony watching the Chicago skyline, Haley said softly, "You know, the first time I teased you in that meeting, I was so sure you'd either ignore me or take it personally." "I almost did," he admitted. "But something told me you weren't just being critical. It was like you were trying to see if I'd hold my own." She smiled. "Exactly. I flirt with brains, not biceps." "Good," he said, taking her hand, "because I've got more of one than the other." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "That's what I was hoping for." As their story continued, Ryan realized something he wished more people knew. Sometimes, flirting doesn't come dressed in the usual signs. Sometimes it's a challenge. A look that dares you to engage. Comment that pushes you to think deeper. A spark disguised as sarcasm. And if you're lucky enough to recognize it like he was, you might just find something better than a fleeting flirtation. You might find someone who truly gets you. Because love, like people, doesn't always show up in ways you expect. Sometimes it sneaks in through wit and wordplay, through debates and dinner invites that aren't quite dates. And when it does, it's worth every moment of confusion along the way. Even now, years later, Ryan still tells people the story of how Haley flirted with him. How she broke every flirting rule he thought he knew. How she saw him, challenged him, and slowly, unexpectedly, stole his heart. And she still teases him. "Admit it," she says when he least expects it. "You never saw me coming." He smiles every time. 'Cause she's right. He didn't.